Hey, how's it going, you guys? So in this video, I'm going over the 5 biggest mistakes that college grads make and how to overcome them. Number 1, not taking risks and not going for the things that we want in life. So whether you're just straight out of college or you've been out of college for a few years, what you want to do is ask yourself, how much risk have you taken in your life? It's still early on in your life where the decisions that you make today have a huge impact on what your future life holds for you. Every little thing that you do now is going to shape the rest of your life. You know, one thing leads to another, which leads to another, and that basically paves your path to your future success. Think about what you envision yourself doing in 10, 20, 30 years, and then think about what you're doing right now in order to reach that goal. You really have to actively pursue these goals because they're not just gonna fall into your lap. So personally, I didn't take that many risks right when I got out of college. In fact, I went the easy route. What I did was I basically just started doing small side jobs for people in order to make money. I take all types of photo assignments, whether it be grad shoots, corporate gigs, engagement parties, weddings, because I did that stuff before I graduated college, and I just continued to do that after I graduated college. So it was not risky for me at all to do that. I also tutored on the side, so I would teach high school students things like math and writing in order to just make some more income. So basically, my first year out of college, I wasn't making a lot of money at all because I was solely freelancing, just doing small jobs here and there. So money was always tight. The first ever risky thing that I did in my life was in 2016, so 2 years after I graduated college, I started my e-commerce business. That had been like the only risky thing I had ever done. I consider myself a pretty risk-averse person, so to be able to take that step and invest some money into this e-commerce business and try and grow it, it was pretty scary for me. I get it. Some of you guys have student debt, loans that you have. Basically, you just need to be smart. If you have many things that you need to pay off, it's really crucial that you find a stable job that provides you an income so that you can meet those payments. The last thing you want to do is not be able to make payments, go into collections, and just ruin your credit completely. Once you have a stable job, hustle towards those things that you really want to do in life. Because for most people, I don't think you're trying to work doing something that's is not your complete passion. So hustle on the side towards those aforementioned goals. If a desk job or whatever job you're doing at the moment is your passion, is your calling in life, then by all means continue doing that. But if it isn't, keep that job for now and start doing your side hustles and see when you can make that transition from 9 to 5 into making your side gigs your full-time income. Your 20s is the perfect time to embrace that risk. You definitely need to treat risk as a tool, a specialized tool that can make you really successful in life. But of course, you have to be very careful at the same time. How I like to think of it is like this. It's not a win-lose situation. Rather, it's a win-learn situation. So you're either gonna win or you're gonna lose, but actually be learning from those mistakes. And each loss brings you closer to winning. All right, number 2 mistake that I see college grads make all the time is succumbing to lifestyle inflation. So yeah, you're in college, you're making like negative $50,000 a year, right? Because you're actually paying tuition and not making any money for the most part. And then you transition from that into making $50,000, $100,000, $150,000 a year. That's a huge jump. One thing that happens to literally everyone is lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation is this phenomenon. When you make more money, you're going to spend more money. It is very rare, but you hardly ever see a person making $50,000 a year spend the same amount of money as someone that's making $150,000 a year. The person that makes $150,000 a year obviously has a lot more like discretionary spending income that they can spend money on. And of course, if they have the money, they're more inclined to buy bigger and nicer things. Let's look at it this way. So you have a person making $50K a year, spending $30 on every meal it's going to be kind of a stretch because they're going to have a pretty limited amount of money that they can spend on luxuries like eating out all the time. Now compare that to the person that's making $150,000. Obviously after their payments on things like rents and utilities, they're gonna have a lot more leftover money. So spending $30 on a meal isn't really going to hurt their wallet as much. Also, the media perpetuates like this high glamour, high spending way of life. Everyone that we see on social media seems to be like YOLOing, spending their money on nice things and posting about it. When in reality, all that they post are these nice moments in their lives. So like it's very selected towards things that look like they're spending a lot of money. And when we see this all the time, we kind of get caught up in this trap of, hey, my friends are spending money. They're going on nice vacations, they're eating out all the time and posting food pics. So, you know, I deserve to do that as well. Now, by all means, some lifestyle inflation is obviously okay. Like if you're making $10,000 a year and living in a cardboard box in San Francisco, then you get a job where you're making 200 grand a year. You know, obviously move the fuck out of that cardboard box and go get into a real apartment. You don't need to live like you're broke all the time. So yeah, be wise and also be wary that this phenomenon exists. It's okay to get lifestyle inflation a bit, but don't take it to the extreme because you'll just be spending all the extra money that you're earning on extra luxuries that, you know, don't really propel you forward in life. Number 3 is thinking that things are cheap because of financing. Now, I am completely a victim to this. I almost leased like a really nice car that I can't really afford because the lease payments were so low that I was like, you know, I can technically afford this, so I should just get it. The banks are really good at making things that are actually really expensive seem really cheap because they break those big purchases into all these little monthly payments where you're like, oh yeah, I can afford $50 a month. You know, I can afford this $5,000 item because I can pay $200 a month, you know? Nowadays, everyone finances big purchases and it just really makes everything seem cheap. For example, look at these Yeezy shoes. They're $795 minus 20% or whatever. Or you could be paying just $70 a month. Anyone that pretty much works can afford technically $70 a month. But when you add all those payments together, it's obvious that you're spending $700, $800 on a pair of shoes, which is just ridiculous in my mind. Or take a look at this Balenciaga jacket, which is about $2,000. Now that seems like an insane amount, but then you can see that Affirm allows you to make payments of $186 per month. When you look at it that way, you know, that doesn't seem nearly as expensive. Loan payment terms are getting longer and longer and longer. You know, we started off with 36-month terms. Now we got 48, 60, 72, and even like 84-month payment plans. So yeah, when you're buying a $50,000 car, paying it out over 84 months, the monthly is going to be pretty low. Basically, what this is doing is it's allowing the consumer to get this instant gratification from making such an expensive purchase without actually spending all the money up front. Rather, we're just getting boned later on in the future when we have to end up making like 84 payments of $600, which just adds up to a ton more money than we are originally willing to spend. It's really great psychology on their part because everything seems a lot cheaper than it actually is. It makes the consumer's mindset in this really vulnerable position. The number 4th mistake that I see all the time in college grads is not setting good habits. So it's so easy, and I know this from experience, to get into a like routine that's very easy, very chill, and in your comfort zone. And once you're in that comfort zone, it's hard to get out of it. So the types of like routines and habits that I'm talking about are things like what time you wake up, the types of food that you eat, are you like healthy or unhealthy, your exercising habits, the amount of TV that you watch, and also the amount of social media that you consume every day. The thing with these habits is that they compound over time. Quick plug for the book, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, one of my favorite books ever. Every little thing we do, if we keep doing it throughout the rest of our life. Those effects are going to compound, and they're going to have really great effects or impacts on how our life becomes. So personally, when I graduated, I was waking up every day like pretty late, like 9 or 10 a.m. because I had nothing else to do. I wasn't being productive with my time. I wasn't spending each waking hour doing something productive and getting towards the goals that I had in my head. I also had terrible eating habits, and I just wasn't really going anywhere in life. So this is called a slump, and most people go through something like this at least once in their lifetime. Once we're in a slump, it's hard to get out, but that's what we have to do. We have to get out of that slump, and we have to go to being more productive, because if we want success in life, we can't do it while in a slump ever. It's really important to hold yourself accountable. Set rules and follow them every single day on the dot. Make sure you do these things every day, because if you slip up once, you're gonna slip again, and it's not gonna become a habit or rule in your life. If you can get a mentor or even a friend, someone that can hold you accountable, that makes your chances of taking on these habits and making them into your own rule book, it makes that a lot more likely. I definitely wish I had someone like that when I got out of college, because I feel like it would have made me hold myself a lot more accountable for things, and it would make me just a better person overall. It's also a lot easier to start good habits now rather than later. Okay, the final mistake that I see people in their 20s make all the time is not focusing on building up their credit score. So when I graduated, I barely knew what a credit score even was. I just knew that a higher number meant something good and a lower number meant something bad. I got lucky in that basically I saw that people were traveling for free using credit card points. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna sign up for my own credit card. And that's when I got my first credit card straight out of college. Your credit score is something that can have such a big impact on your financial life. Everything that you do when you're in your 20s and 30s that relates to finance or building a life relates to your credit score. So if you're trying to get a loan, the higher your credit score is, the lower your interest rate is going to be, and the less you're going to be paying. Same with if you're buying a car or any big thing that requires you borrow money from someone. So building up the score takes a long time, and I go through this in my other videos, but I just want to reiterate that the earlier you start building your credit score, the higher it's gonna be by the time you decide to buy a house or buy a car. And it's gonna save you a significant amount of money in the long run. Basically, what I recommend people do is get a credit card, make these on-time payments, and the keyword is on time. You have to be responsible, and you have to treat it like you are using a debit card. What I mean by that is only buy things that you can afford, that you have money in the bank to pay for. Because if you buy something that's super expensive and you don't have enough money in your bank account to pay for it, when it comes time to pay your credit card statement, you're gonna not be able to make that payment, and your credit score is going to be severely impacted. All right, so yeah, you're in your 20s, now's the time to be free. Now's the time to really take those chances and make the world your own. But at the same time, you have to be very responsible, and you have to start building these habits and these principles that are going to really dictate how your life is going to turn out. Every successful person that I know or that I've read about can attribute their successes to all the years of hard work, all the years of good habits and principles that they have followed. So their successes are a result of all of this hard work in the past, and that past starts right now for you because you're young. Things that you do now are really going to impact you and let you be able to become very successful in the future. So get out there and kill it, you guys. I have so much faith in you guys. You guys are already watching videos about personal finance, entrepreneurship. If you can take that type of initiative all the time, then you're going to be successful, guaranteed. Anyways, thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit that like button. And also, if you want to subscribe to my channel, that would be amazing. I encourage all you guys to do that. Yeah, I guess that's all I have to say today. So I'll see you guys in the next video.